My name is Ed McNeal, and I am truly GiftED. And I want to tell you another reason why. I want to tell you about a college roommate of mine. I had two college roommates towards the end of my stay at Bowling Green State University working on my undergraduate degree. One roommate was Chuck. He is from the great metropolis of Edgerton, Ohio. That's right. The other is, I'm going to call him Adam because I have not cleared this story with him. And we'll say he's from another country. Both of these guys I roomed with for a couple of years, and we got along extremely well. As a matter of fact, over the course of a couple of years, I cannot remember a time that we were at odds or ends. We always got along, and because we were dealing with limited finances at the time, we just shared our money, and we worked well with one another. It was a great time. Chuck has a wife and kids, and they're doing well. He works for the Department of Defense. And my friend Adam, he lives out in California. He works for a small organization called Google. Yes. All right. I want to tell you the backstory now about my father. My father worked his way up the corporate ladder with Dana Corporation. He did extremely well for himself. Started entry level and worked himself up. Worked there for over 39 years. But what it meant for my family is about every 2 or 3 years we were moving. So picture this. I was born here in Toledo, Ohio, lived off of LaGrange and Stickney. Humble beginnings indeed. After 2 or 3 years, we moved to Walnut, California. My dad was promoted again, and we moved to Athens, Georgia. He was promoted again. We moved to Allentown, Pennsylvania. He was promoted again, and we moved back here to Toledo, Ohio, where from 6th grade all the way through high school we lived. I stayed here and went to Bowling Green State University. My parents, though, picked up after my senior year, and actually during my senior year, my dad did. And they moved to Knoxville, Tennessee, where he was running a plant. My dad eventually, about 4 years later, made it back here where the headquarters are, and he was the vice president of government relations for the last probably 15 years or so of his career. My parents, they retired in the early 2000s. They were living in one of the nicer neighborhoods in the Toledo area. Every time we moved, my dad kept doing that. He kept pushing the envelope and moving us into nicer and nicer neighborhoods. And so he was very proud of where he had taken us, and we were proud, very proud of his accomplishments. After they retired in the 2000s, though, in 2008, the economy took a dip, and my dad made a couple of bad moves with some investment money and ended up losing all of their retirement money. This was the beginning of a very difficult time. I saw a lot happen. My mom was emotionally stressed out, and it really took a toll on her. But my father, I could see him physically, his physical decline. I could see his emotional decline. You could just see it across the board. His mental, emotional, physical, it was all happening. And it was tough. But my dad did not want to part with everything he had worked towards. And so it made it really difficult financially. My siblings and I tried to help out with finances, but it was a tough deal. And for 9 years, they struggled through that until 2017. In 2017, I won a trip back I was going to go to California. And it meant, hey, I might be able to see my friend Adam there. And reached out to him. We had a phone conversation, and it was just, we were too far away, and our schedules did not align. But we had a conversation, and we hadn't talked in a while. And he asked how I was doing and my family was doing, but then he asked how my parents were doing. And when he heard my hesitation, he kept pressing me until he got an answer. And I told him that they were struggling, and I said, but they're going to be okay. We're going to work through it. And that was the end of that conversation. Fast forward 2 months later, my friend Adam is being honored by Bowling Green State University for his accomplishments. He has truly done well for himself, especially there at Google. And so they were bringing him and he and his family back to honor them. They wanted to recognize his accomplishments, and they're just proud he's a graduate of Bowling Green State University. So they were going to honor him and wine and dine him for a few days. But while he was here, I thought, man, we could visit. That didn't work. And the reason it didn't work was because I was scheduled for a family cruise. We had already had it scheduled, and so we were going to be unable to meet yet again. But listen, while Bowling Green State University planned on honoring my friend Adam, my friend came back and he spent time trying to bestow some honor on my parents. He visited them. He introduced his wife and daughter, and they spent time together. And when he had a chance to talk to my mom, he asked my mom how they were doing financially, and my mom shared how difficult it was. And he said, well, I don't want that to be a difficulty anymore. You guys have taken care of me when I was here. When I was young, I didn't have a place to go between college breaks and different things, and you guys were family to me. You opened your home. You offered me advice when I needed it and starting out in my career. You guys are family to me, and if you guys want to stay here, I will pay for the mortgage. My mom was stunned. She said, what do you mean you'll pay for the mortgage? He said, I will either pay off the mortgage or I will make payments on the mortgage one way or another. If you guys want to stay, you can stay. My mom said, but you don't know any numbers. You don't know anything. You don't know how much we owe. And he says, well, how much do you owe? And at that point, my mom said, well, it's well over $200,000. My college roommate, Adam, looked at her and said, listen, like I said, I'm going to take care of it. What he opted to do was this. He opted to send large sums of money that would cover them for several months at a time. And listen, over the course of the next 5 years, my friend Adam sent over $150,000 so that my parents did not have to leave their home. That is an absolutely over-the-top gift for my parents. The money is one thing, but it was just the fact that he wanted to make sure that if that's what they wanted to do, they could do that. He did that with no expectation of anything in return. Man. Just after 5 years, we recently just downsized my parents. It was time. But again, over $150,000 was given by my college roommate to my parents. Listen, this is what I mean by when I say I am gifted. I'm truly gifted, and I'm gifted because of people like Adam and friendships that I've established. I can't even begin to tell you the kinds of things that God has done and people he's placed in my life. That's what I mean when I say I truly am gifted. And it's because of the friendship of guys like Adam.